It's a little embarrassing, but it wasn't the first time I'd been cheated on. I think it hurt more because it was the first time I'd had a relationship with the same sex. I'm over it now, and really, I more than anyone should have known how males behave. And when you open your heart, you always run the risk of being hurt. I honestly didn't see this one coming, which made it all the more painful. We've been together 3 years, and you think you know them, but you don't really know them. A week ago Wednesday, I turned into my quiet Seal Rock subdivision, started up the hill, and that's when I saw him. There in the ocean view window of my neighbor's home. An avid ornithologist, he was no doubt staring out at some passing bird. "Why, you two-tongued bastard," I muttered. Our eyes met, and he tried to duck down, but he knew he was busted. In hindsight, I should have seen the signs, the late nights, the poor appetite, the smell of perfume in his hair. And you know, you always start to blame yourself. Was it me? Was it something I did? The long hours at work, the lack of affection. Clearly the neighbor's home was nicer than mine with its ocean view, and maybe the food was better too, but was that any reason to do that to someone? Naturally, the anger and self-blame were followed by self-doubt and denial. Maybe it wasn't him in the window. My skeptical side said that those striking green eyes of his were probably 1 in 1,000, but had I really gotten a good look at him? There was only one way to be sure. I headed home to see if he was there on the bed, splayed out as I'd left him that morning. Part of me didn't want to know, but part of me felt compelled to find out. I started to convince myself maybe it had all been the case of mistaken identity. When I saw what looked like his sorry white butt go scurrying across my rearview mirror. Incensed, but wanting to be absolutely sure this time, I hit the brakes, kicked it in reverse, and started back to confirm my worst fears. I arrived just in time to see what appeared to be the fluffy white tail of my beloved Mr. Dingles disappearing behind a 6-foot fence. For a moment, I saw white fur and one green eye peering out through the planks in the fence. And then he was gone, and that's when it hit me. Why, that two-timer was trying to beat me home and make me think I hadn't seen him in the window. Oh, you don't, I thought. Since cats can take shortcuts through yards, over fences, and across rooftops, they have a distinct advantage in racing across subdivisions. Slamming down the accelerator, I heard the squealing of spinning tires and nearly knocked over a children at play sign as I pulled off down the street. Skidding around the corner, I turned to see that dirty snowball skitter across Miss Mackenzie's rooftop and leap onto old man Megawitz's fence. At that point, I appeared to have a slight edge, and I felt pretty good about my chances of beating him home. But that's when I spied her out painting her fence. Every neighbor's worst nightmare, that cantankerous old bat, Kay Eldon. I looked on at that evil woman with her radar hearing and beady, ever-watchful eyes turned towards the sound of my approach. She had the president of the HOA on speed dial and had reported me for every infraction imaginable. So I had no choice but to reduce my speed. Damn it, I growled, as I watched that fluffy philanderer race into the lead. Decelerating, I feigned a friendly wave in Kay's direction, and then I tried to convince myself that maybe it hadn't been him. After all cats kind of look alike. Like hell it wasn't him, I thought, and the second I was out of Kay's line of sight, I slammed down the accelerator and sped off again. Skidding into my driveway, I burst through the front door and frantically shouted, "Has anyone seen Dingles run through here?" My wife and daughters looked at me as if I was mad, but all three shook their heads no. Turning to the kitchen cat door, I tried to detect some signs of movement, but nothing. Needing to know for sure, I stormed down the hall, stopping at my bedroom door. Did I really want to know? I wasn't so sure then, but unable to contain my cat-killing curiosity, I slowly turned the knob. Boy, did I feel guilty. There he was, sound asleep in his customary spot, just as I'd left him. How could I have been so jealous? Hearing my approach, he lifted his sleepy little head and looked back at me lovingly. "You're such a good kitty," I said. "Yes, Daddy loves you, Mr. Dingy Wingy." Reaching out my hand, I stroked his fluffy white belly just the way he liked. Thank God, I thought. Reaching up to unbutton my shirt, I noticed a white smudge on my hand. Paint? How? I wondered had I gotten paint on myself. Replaying the day's events, I had no recollection of being around any paint. The only painting I'd even seen all day was that crabby K. "Dingles," I burned. "You cheating dog, you." He laid there like he hadn't even heard me, but clearly the dog comment stung him a little. Despondent, I marched down the hall, flopped down in my favorite chair, unable to speak or make contact with my family, knowing full well that one or all of them were complicit in letting Mr. Dingles live this double life. striking.